The idea of playing behind closed doors does not work. On the 16th, we issued a press statement indicating it does not work. There's no evidence anywhere in the world that it's working. Russia tried to play, then they now postponed. So why should we try something that has already failed? And once players or officials become positive and affected, then we want to postpone. Prevention, as the doctor said, is better than cure. And therefore, our responsibility is to prevent. And we cannot agree with FIFA, agree with CAF, agree with everybody. Botswana has postponed. Lesotho has postponed. And many of the African countries, from the north, Tunisia, Morocco, you go through Africa. Why must we be the only country that see the danger and refuse to react to that danger? We have a responsibility, and all the matches will be postponed until the 4th of April.
Next, please.
Vuyo from Power FM. Just maybe also to the doc is this information that is just being shared with us. I understand that there was a meeting yesterday, but this information that is shared with us, has the details, really the details been shared with the Minister's office to give him the understanding that whatever this decision that you've taken now, that it can't happen that we play football? Have the details really been shared with the Minister's office?
On the 16th of March, we issued that press statement, and that press statement did go to the Minister's office, so they should have it. But I sent it again this morning to the Minister, and I've updated the Minister of what's happening worldwide. So yes, we did try and inform the Minister. And yesterday, we were in the meeting with the Minister, and I quoted the numerous examples that I repeated here yesterday in that meeting and said, from what we saw of those countries who tried playing behind closed doors, everyone had people who was positive as a result of those matches. And therefore, when we have fewer resources, teams that and hospitals that's not as well equipped as Switzerland and Germany and Italy and those countries, that we continue in spite of the fact that they failed.
Yes, sir?
Thanks to the President and the Doctor. The President, in terms of, I want to have a clarity in terms of the PSL will be having a meeting tomorrow. Yes, they've suspended the games, but there's a follow-up meeting tomorrow to give us a clearer indication. Have you been consulted? You did mention that earlier there was supposed to be a meeting this morning. Have you been consulted about that meeting? To the Doctor, I mean, yes, we've already alluded to the fact briefly about continuing to play the matches behind closed doors. But the dangers of let's say, we continue to play those matches, especially for players, what are the dangerous things?
Well, I'll ask the CEO, the press statement that we issued, whether they did indeed send it to the PSL. I did personally communicate with the chairman of the league, and I told him what our position is. I also told him that we're going to have a press conference and put our position, because we cannot take the risk. It's just something that we cannot do. And if our mother bodies all pushed into the position of postponement, even our neighbors, Lesotho and Botswana, and many others on the continent, I don't know on what basis we should proceed when the medical evidence is overwhelming. That's a risk. Yes, did you inform PSL?
Yes, Mr. President, I can confirm that we have informed the PSL on the 16th already, Monday, when the EXCO met, and informed them about the decision of the association. I understood that probably they have taken our statement into account when we postponed, but we don't know what's going to happen going forward.
Thank you very much. The dangers of playing Number one, just before I answer that, I just need to also give you this information. The incubation period of COVID-19 in a human body is about 2 to 14 days. So it takes about 2 to 14 days before you actually show symptoms. Now, before, with the studies that have been made, it was said that you do not infect the next person until you become symptomatic. But the latest that I got yesterday, it's research that is continuously being done, is that actually, even before you actually show symptoms, you can infect the next person. Now, what are the dangers in our league? I've had the privilege of doing the club visitation with the head coach of Bafana Bafana, and the clubs that I've visited, honestly, so far, it's only 2 that have a full-time sports physician. Full-time, 2 out of those that I've visited. And with the research that I've done in the whole PSL, I can safely, without contradiction, say that those that are full-time, we've got 4 clubs that have got full-time sports physicians. Those are, now what I mean by full-time are people who attend their training sessions, people are traveling with them, and those that are attending games. That's full-time medical staff. Most of the clubs, what they do, they have doctors as consultants. And most of those doctors, again, they are doctors, they are not sports physicians. So they are not really football or sports orientated. So now I'm just giving you a background. Now what does that mean? Number one, the players could be infected, doesn't show signs as yet. And then because of poor medical screening, I'm going to say poor medical screening because from the clubs that I visited, no one gave me, except for 2 clubs, gave me full details that were done on pre-screening before the actual league starts. That means they do not know the medical conditions of the player. They do not know if players are on chronic medication. That is what I actually requested. I did not get that. So what does that mean? The player is immunocompromised. You have an infected player that is immunocompromised with whatever, it could be diabetes, could be any other chronic infection. And then that player infecting the other because you do not know, because they don't show signs at the moment or symptoms at the moment. And what does that mean? If there's a game playing, all those people that are playing, ideally they are infected. And those people, they've got support staff that are working with them. And those people have got families back at home. They've got friends. So you know what that can do to the country? It can cause a serious outbreak. And are we ready as a country to deal with it? The answer is no. Hence the government said, no mass gathering.
Sir?
Temba Shabalala, Joseph from Sports. Quick one for the doctor and the president. Bloemfontein Celtic has actually released sort of a statement yesterday saying that their players will all be taken in. Could it be something that you advise that all the other teams do in terms of their own safety as things stand within the PSL and other local structures? And for the president, the structures seem to be not clear in terms of the hierarchy or maybe the reporting. Or the interlinking rather between the Ministry of Sport, the PSL, and South African Football Association. Because at this stage, it looks like whoever that has got the platform says what they think is right for them. Who reports to who? What happens there? Because the minister says this, PSL says this, SAFA says this, and that causes more confusion.
No. I mean, these things are crystal clear. You must go to the FIFA statutes. The FIFA says that SAFA is the governing body of all football in the country. Secondly, it says that the league shall be an internal subordinate body of SAFA. You go to the CAF constitution, it says the same. You go to the SAFA constitution, it says the same. And the league is our member, as a special member. And therefore, we have a special relationship with the league. But it's in the context of the FIFA, SAFA, and CAF constitutions. As far as the minister is concerned, of course, he is the minister, the highest authority in government on all sport. And he knows that he works with rugby, nationally, with cricket, with football, with netball, and every other code. you saw the question of, you see in athletics, road running is an affiliate of ASA. And therefore the minister knows that while they run their own affairs as road running, you must speak to ASA as a governing body. So I don't think there's any confusion around these issues. So yes, we speak and report to the minister, and we work with PSL, and in fact the chair in our constitution, the PSL chairman is automatically the chairman or the vice president of SAFA. So that constitutionally shows you where the bind is in terms of SAFA and PSL. PSL is a domestic league. In other words, it runs 32 teams competition within the boundaries of the Republic of South Africa. Once you cross the Limpopo River, you are dealing with SAFA. That's why we are a member of CAF, a member of COSAFA, we're a member of FIFA. And we attend those meetings and deal with continental and international matters, while the PSL deal with domestic league matters. I hope it's clear now.
Okay.
It's clear. All right.
Can I just get clarity in terms of taking in so that I answer properly? You said most of the Bloemfontein Celtics have been taken in.
No. No. They said they released a statement. They said yesterday that today their players would have to go in and get tested.
Okay.
That's the precaution that they take. So what we want to find out is that could it be advisable for all the teams from your side? How do you view that?
Well, in terms, I mentioned, I'm not sure if they're going to win with that, with testing asymptomatic athletes. I'm not sure if they're going to win because I've tried it with 2 international players from South Africa who are playing abroad. And they said the protocol of government is clear. If you do not have contact with a person that has a confirmed case and you do not have symptoms, you cannot really be tested because we do not have enough tests in the country at the moment.
Yes, sir.
So in our language, because the doctor uses medical language, unless you are sick, you can't go and test. You must show symptoms first, then you can go and test. Once they see all of the symptoms in you, then you can test. But if you look healthy, well, by the way, doctor, I did the same thing with my doctor yesterday. And he says, no, you are healthy, you are well, go on. I said, no, but can I just in case? He says, no. So you must ask the doctor why is it like that. I don't know. Why is it like that?
It's because you don't have symptoms. You don't have symptoms and you don't have contact with a person that is a confirmed case. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sati Shaker and Paz Magazine. In your capacity as Vice President of CAF, there were a couple of teams which announced before CAF made the decision to cancel the CHAN that they were not going. Does that affect them when the CHAN actually does take place? And to the doctor, I don't know if you're aware that there was a ship which had some coronavirus infected people on it, which wasn't allowed in various places in the Caribbean, but subsequently was in Cuba. And the reports are saying that they seem to be getting treated positively and that they think they can do something about it. Have you been in touch with the Cubans about what they're doing?
I don't know if that's for the doctor, but
Yeah.
Mr. President?
Start.
Okay, you want to start, doctor?
Okay. In terms of I've heard of the case, but in terms of being in touch with the Cubans, honestly speaking, I haven't been. But what I've been doing is being in touch with the World Health Organization. And what we know is that in San Diego, in that biggest laboratory, famous laboratory, they are saying they have now the vaccination for COVID-19. However, they are still doing trials for them to actually say that this is the vaccine that you can actually use. So with the Cubans, I'm not well vested.
No, what is what is happening on the African continent, as you may have seen, that more and more African countries are shutting their borders now. And so we must understand that. Morocco has indicated that they are withdrawing, and so did Namibia. But once the issue is clear, and we have to see whether to reinstate the CHAN, and then we have to consider, because these problems are not of their making. It is the government of these countries that placed the restriction that no one may leave the country and no one must enter the country. And so there's nothing they can do. No sports team can then leave to go and play anywhere. So we understand that.
Let's go that side.
Okay, thank you. My name is Tabiso Musia from SAFM. SAFA has been very clear and very consistent from the beginning with communication that you are against matches being played behind closed doors. Mr. Mukoen has been all over the media reiterating this statement. So I want to find out then, after what the minister said yesterday, are you disappointed by his comments? Were they ill-informed? Were they premature, considering that SAFA has always been clear on this stance? And there was a question from the floor, and the answer was that we will see what happens with the PSL's BOG tomorrow. Just to be clear, is the SAFA decision final? Do they have any room to maneuver here if they want to play matches?
I'm not going to speak on behalf of the minister, so I cannot answer those questions. Other than to say we are working with the minister, we are cooperating with the minister, and will continue to do so. Where, as far as this decision is concerned, it is final. You know what it means. Unless you want me to explain what final means.
No,
Oh, you understand.
That's very clear, but what is your reaction to the minister's comments? Are you disappointed by the comments? Because as SAFA, you've been clear where you stand here, but he came out yesterday to go against what the mother body has been saying.
No. I cannot express. You asked me for an emotional matter. Am I happy? Am I sad? Am I disappointed? We just deal with the facts as we see it.
Were they ill-informed then?
I don't know. I don't work in the department. You must ask the department. I don't know.
Thank you, Terry. So next question, the back there.
Mr. President, have you given any thought to the financial impact that this could have on South African football, and is there an emergency fund to deal with stuff like this?
Yeah, you know, of course, this is not just a matter for South Africa. You may have seen the press statement released by FIFA. FIFA recognizes, and so does UEFA, and so does CAF, and SAFA. The impact, you must know, for SAFA, major revenues is when our teams play for qualification and qualify for tournaments. That's our big revenue. The World Cup is a big revenue, AFCON is a big revenue, and now we can't get that revenue because the matches are postponed. Under 17, under 20, and our Olympic team. So we have 5 teams that would have generated a lot of revenue for us. But we understand we have to put the interest of the players first. Our under 23 team, for example, had to play in Tokyo against the Japanese. At that time already, we wrote a letter to Japan to say, look, we are not comfortable to send our under 23 to play there. We'd want to postpone this tournament. They then wrote back to say, okay, can we play in Spain? Little did they know that there will be a huge problem in Spain too. Then they said, no, we are not playing anymore. We're not going to Spain. Let's just can this whole thing of preparation for the Olympics. So, unfortunately, as I said before, it's like a plane taking off this virus. It goes slowly when the plane is on the ground, and then it takes to the air, and then it skyrockets. And if it's at the height, it may be out of control. So we have to stop that plane on the ground before it takes off. Otherwise, we'll be in trouble. As far as the broadcasting and commercial matters are concerned, we are going to meet with the broadcasters as well with the commercial partners to explain to them that unfortunately we have to put the interest of the players' health first. We cannot give guarantees. As you see, Italy couldn't, Germany couldn't, England couldn't, France couldn't, Spain couldn't, and so you can go through the world. And the doctor tells us that we also cannot give those guarantees. And the question is, if any player contracts the virus and suffers as a result, now already you see in Europe, what are the legal implications? Who must be held responsible? Those are issues that the players themselves are debating. So there are a lot of medical issues that's not clear and still many of it unresolved. There is football matters unresolved, and then the legal issues unresolved. So in those circumstances, you have to say, look, let us just step back here and give time for these things to settle and clear.
That's it? Hello, sir? Oh, you done?
Okay.
Oh, no, sorry.
Thank you very much.
We still have just 2 more questions and then we're done.
Okay.
Mr. President, Mazola Molife from Soccer Laduma. I'm not looking for further explanation on the word final, but I'm just trying to understand if SAFA's decision is final, then why is there still an anticipation of the PSL's BOG meeting tomorrow as if the final decision will come from there? Surely the assumption is that you would have had communication with them and made clear your stance, and then it stops at that, and there's no more further engagement and anticipation on what they will say and what they will not say about whether football should continue.
Well, as I indicated that, and as the CEO told you that on the 16th of March, that letter was sent. So we cannot stop them from debating whatever they want to debate. We cannot. So the position is clear, and we've stated the position, and that's the position. And we will right now to CAF and FIFA to inform them of the position that South African football has taken in relation to making our contribution to keep the people of our country safe, to take our players' interests and protect them and keep them safe, and avoid what the president says, 2 things. No more than 100 people should assemble. Some of the clubs have squads of 40. So just 2 clubs will have 80. If you have 10 cameramen and 3 per camera, it's another 30, it's 110. I'm not counting the referees, the technical staff. There's 11 on the bench, 11. You won't stay within 100. The second thing, you cannot play football if you must observe what the president said. You must observe strictly social distance. How do you play football when you must observe social distance? It's not possible. He can talk to you about washing hands and other things. He's a medical man. He can talk. You can talk to him about social distance. What is the impact of compromising social distance, doctor?
President, you will not be giving them referees if they go ahead. You will not be giving them referees if they decide to go ahead.
Who's talking?
Mazola the back.
Oh,
You will not give them referees if they decide to go ahead.
Oh, I didn't know you're a member of SAFA. Well, I think, of course, the referees' health must also be considered. And you see the problem with the referees. They are traveling in taxis, many of them. These referees are not rich people. Many of them don't own cars. And we also have a responsibility to protect them. But thank you for representing the referees.
Last question at the back.
Oh, okay. Maris Kiti, Vision View Sports Radio. This is just for the doctor. When you're looking at the I mean, the stats all around the world with the COVID-19, we've got 80,000 from China who've been infected. This is just outside of the people who've passed on, but you also have a number of 69,000 who have recovered. When you look at Italy, 31,000. 2.9 have recovered, and the list goes on to even countries that are small like Oman, who have 33 cases, but 12 have recovered. When you look at a country like us, who's now sitting on 116 cases, we're still sitting at 0 recoveries. Why do you think, in your opinion, what has contributed to that? Why are we struggling to have a recovery rate where we see countries like China, who now sitting on 69,000 recovery?
Thank you very much, Mbali.
No, you must also add that the United States is now at 200 deaths
Yes.
in the US. So you must also explain these things to us.
Thank you very much, Mbali. It's quite ironic that Mbali always asks medical questions. Even in the last press conference, Mbali asked a medical question. Okay. In terms of recovery, the last time I checked, there was a severe case that was at ICU and successfully moved or graduated to the normal ward. And again, I again stand to be corrected, because when I checked the statistics, there was a confirmed case that was successfully treated. One case that I know of. Not unless maybe the case then changed, but there was a successful case. Now, why do we have this situation? In China, there's a lot of successful cases. Why? Remember, this outbreak in China started a long time ago. They had enough time to deal with it. And the last time I checked, yesterday when I checked, I saw that their hospital that they created for COVID-19 is now closed because they don't have more new cases, because they have developed ways of dealing with it. In South Africa, it's pretty new. So we are still in a process to develop the ways of actually dealing with it. And the other thing that we need to remember, COVID-19, there is no treatment for it. There's no specific treatment for COVID-19. We are only treating symptoms at the moment because there's no specific treatment. So we are treating fever, we are treating respiratory compromises in case you've got shortness of breath. We are treating that. And most of the cases that are hospitalized are people who are already immunocompromised, who are already suffering from medical conditions. So mostly we are treating that, not necessarily COVID-19.
The chances of reinfection also high.
Very high.